Good morning, dear children. How are you all? So, welcome once again to today's class. So, let's begin with it.
So as you all know, children, we are dealing with the chapter How Do Organisms Reproduce, and in the previous classes we have already discussed various modes of asexual reproduction. So today we are going to start with sexual reproduction in plants. Sexual reproduction. When reproduction takes place as a result of the fusion of male and female gametes is called sexual reproduction. Fusion of gametes is called fertilization, which results in variation. Sexual reproduction in plants. Children, as you all know, flowers are the reproductive organs of plants. Angiosperms are characterized by the presence of flowers. They are the only group of plants which develop definite flowers. Therefore, angiosperms are also called as flowering plants, and flowers are the only reproductive organs of plants. A typical flower consists of four main whorls, namely sepals, petals, stamen and pistil. Children, types of flowers. Basically, there are two types of flowers, bisexual flower and a unisexual flower. Bisexual flower means when both male and female reproductive parts are present in the same flower. Such flowers are called as bisexual flowers. For example, we have mustard, hibiscus, etc. Unisexual flowers. Either male or female reproductive part is present in that flower. That is known as unisexual flower. For example, papaya, watermelon, etc. So children, now try to understand the details of the structure of a flower. All the parts of flower are situated on an axis. This axis has two parts, a pedicel and a swollen upper portion called thalamus. All the parts of a flower are arranged on thalamus. A typical angiospermous flower shows the following parts which are clearly mentioned in this diagram. Children, try to understand the structure of the flower by just watching this diagram very carefully. The first whorl is calyx. It is the outermost whorl of green leafy structures, the sepals, which collectively form the calyx. The sepals protect the flower in bud condition. Next to sepals, there are present variously colored and prominent structures called the petals. All petals together are called corolla. Petals attract the insects by their color and scent and thus aids insect pollination. The third whorl is androecium. Stamens are the third set of organs which may be arranged in one or more whorls. All stamens of a flower are collectively called androecium. A stamen has two parts, children. The filamentous part is called stalk and the swollen bilobed structure attached to the distal end of stalk is called anther. Each lobe of anther has two inner chambers called microsporangia. Pollen grains or male gametes are produced in microsporangia. The fourth whorl is gynoecium. The center of the flower is occupied by the gynoecium, which consists of one or more free or fused carpels. The carpels are flask-shaped structures. Each carpel consists of three parts, ovary, style and stigma. Stigma is the distal part of carpel. It receives the pollen during the process of pollination. Style is long, cylinder structure which joins the ovary and stigma. The basal swollen part of the carpel is called the ovary. The ovary possesses the ovules. The ovule possesses the female gamete called egg or ovum. Gynoecium is thus the female part of the flower. So, the next term is pollination. The transference of the pollen from the anther to the receptive stigma is called pollination. There are two types of pollination, children. One is self-pollination and the second type is cross-pollination. In self-pollination, children, pollen grains produced in the anther are transferred to the stigma of the same flower, and in case of cross-pollination, it is transferred to the stigma of another flower. through agents like air, water, or animals. So now children, let's understand the process of fertilization, how it takes place in case of angiospermic plants. Pollen grains germinate and form pollen tube, which passes through the style to reach up to the ovules present in the ovary. The fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Zygote is produced inside the ovary. Zygote then divides to form embryo. Ovule develops thick coat and changes into seed gradually. Ovary changes into fruit and other parts of the flower fall off. Children, this is the diagram showing LS of gynoecium. LS is longitudinal section of gynoecium showing pollen tubes entering the ovule. With this diagram, children, I'll try my best to explain you the process of double fertilization in details to make you people understand this, because this is something very important. After pollination, the pollen grains reach the stigma. The pollen grains germinate, the exine bursts at the place of germ pores, and the intine comes out in the form of pollen tube. Almost entire contents of pollen grain passes into the pollen tube. The male nucleus divides into two male gametes. They may earlier divide into two male gametes in the pollen grain itself. The pollen tube elongates and finally reaches close to the ovule. It now enters the ovule and finally reaches the embryo sac. Now the tip of the pollen tube bursts and the two male gametes are released into the embryo sac. One of the male gametes migrates towards the egg and fuses with it to form the zygote. This process is called syngamy. The other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus, which later forms endosperm. The act in which two elements of embryo sac, that is egg and the secondary nucleus, are fertilized at one time by two male gametes is known as double fertilization. Children, the process of double fertilization is found only in angiosperms. The structure in angiosperms and gymnosperms that develops from the ovule after the process of fertilization is known as seed. The seed germinates to form a plant under suitable conditions such as air, moisture, etc. The seed contains a miniature plant called embryo. The embryo possesses a tiny future shoot called plumule, a tiny future root called radicle, and cotyledons. Cotyledons have stored food. Seeds of monocot plants like onions, lilies, wheat, etc. possesses only one cotyledon, and those are called as monocots, and the seed having two cotyledons, for example gram, pea, beans, etc. are called dicotyledons. The embryo remains in inactive state as long as unfavorable conditions are present. On the approach of favorable conditions, the embryo develops into a seedling. This process of development of seedling from the seed under favorable conditions is termed as germination. The seedling further grows and develops into a plant. Thank you, Shem Stars. That's all for today. I hope whatever was explained in today's class, you have understood it nicely. Even then, if you have any queries, you can drop them on the Google Classroom. God bless you all.